with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag body. So it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Yes, people. We are back with another roundup, but it's a bit of a different roundup because BNG, my co-host, is not here today. He has to take care of his kids. His wife has got usher tickets. So look, this is my this is a guest for this is an actual, I would say, a good treat for the community. We've got Punch Out Boxing's Ra specialist, so big up to you, and we've got the trainer who deserves a lot of praise and doesn't get enough praise for the tremendous job that he does. Barry Smith. I call you personally Bazza, but big up to you. How are you doing? Yes, how's it going, Bazza?
Okay, the dust is starting to settle a little bit in me, but still very angry, disappointed, a bit heartbroken by the weekend. I am, definitely.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about that more, and just so people know, Barry, he trains Jeamie TKV, who's my Congolese brother as well, who's involved in the heavy impact card, which saved the event because we had a lot of pullouts. There was a lot of situations where fighters couldn't compete in the event, but in the end, we had the two heavy hitters or two sets of heavy hitters from both ends. So I'm happy that I could just do this review with the lads. But before we get into the show, I just wanted to big up to the whole of the iBoxingHub family. The work has been tremendous. Bazza, we actually had Abbas, one of our specialists, at the event, so he was live there as well. So big up to Andrew in the comments as well. Bazza, yes. And before we get into the show, just here's a word from our sponsors, D-Rock. All right, yes, people, you know the spiel. iBoxingHub in association with D-Rock, so people take advantage of the discount code, which is iBoxingHub24 for 40% off everything. Andrew's in the comments saying ref had a shocker. He had an absolute shocker. Ra, before we obviously get into Bazza, you just give us your perspective. You watched it live on TV. You saw it. Please, just what's your thoughts, man?
Oh, just
I
mean, it's championship level. I think one of our colleagues online said it's like the referee, they wanted to make it about themselves. They want to be the star, just atrocious. And it happened twice. Was it? I can't remember. Was it the same referee who refereed Rafferty and O'Regan? So twice he pulled a fighter's arm down and then allowed the opponent to hit him. I mean, and in both times, both Jeamie and O'Regan, they had their guard down. They weren't expecting to get hit at that moment. And I mean, that happens at heavyweight. I mean, Jeamie did well, to get up from that knockdown. So, yeah, atrocious. Be interested to see what the board say about this. But unfortunately, we know what the board are like. They always stick up for their officials, no matter how badly they perform. So, yeah, dreadful stuff. Dreadful indeed. And Barry, I know look, Jeamie TKV, that's my Congolese brother, and I do appreciate the work that you've been personally doing for him in the back end.
And, you know, fights like this, from my opinion, you know, he boxed tremendously well. And that situation was the difference maker. But Barry, just give us your thoughts from your perspective as a coach.
You know, it started before the knockdown. You know, they was complaining to the referee that Jeamie had something on his gloves, yeah, which is a load of bullshit, yeah. And the referees come over between the round. He made Jeamie stand up, and he walked up and started smelling Jamie's gloves. I went to the geezer, "What's wrong?" And he went, "What's that smell?" I went, "What smell? There's no smell here." He went, "Oh," and he started screaming at us. He went, "Wipe him down now," and pointing at me. I went, "Not a problem." Wiping him down. All for the referee snatched the towel out of my hand, and the referee started wiping him down. I thought, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah, obviously there was the round before the stoppage, and I don't know what was really going on in the other corner because they were screaming about his things. He's got things on his gloves, which is a lot of crap, you know. But well, this is really what happens when the stoppage, what I could see and whatever. Yeah, so they're two fighters have got themselves in a clinch, yeah. Okay, but the referee's gone on the blind side of the two fighters and called break, and then walked around again more further around to the blind side and pushed Jamie's glove down and said break, and then obviously David's gone on the break, yeah. And obviously you can't give Dave Adelaide a free punch, yeah. And he's given him a free punch and he's hit Jeamie on the chin. And also Jamie's hit the floor, you know, then he's counted him, Jamie's got up and Dave's gone and got the stoppage, as everyone see. And then I started screaming, shouting at the ref, "But you call break." The referee come up to me, blatantly lied to me, and said to me, "I didn't call break." Obviously, my team heard it, what he said. I went, "What?" So I actually called him a lying cunt. Yeah. And he walked away from me. And then he come back this like 5-10 seconds later and went, "Yeah, I did call break." So he admitted what he done to us, yeah. But by then I've already lost my rag by then, yeah. And that's all she wrote, really, you know what I mean? It was done. Jamie's dream was done. But you can see Jeamie was clearly winning that fight, you know. Yeah. So the rules of boxing, if it's a foul blow, an illegal punch, and a fighter can't continue after 4 rounds, yeah, it goes to the scorecards or a disqualification. Why didn't we get none of this? Yeah?
It's true. It's true. 100%. I agree with you. And in your socials, actually, you've got the clip, and I've actually got the clip. So look, YouTube, please look. This is not anything wrong we're doing here. We're just backing a point here. So here is the clip that you've obviously posted on your socials, explaining exactly everything that you've said right now.
Adelaide's still very dangerous, but at the moment she's just been outboxed a little bit, and Wardley's doing the right thing.
Step to his left, all right. I don't want to be going back in straight lines, but it certainly is frustrating, Adelaide. Could have stopped Adelaide from working. There's your right there, Darren.
He was here really early tonight, TKV. Very chilled out. Backstage, he's that sort of a character. Lovely guy to be around.
TKV, and it's making him, yeah, I'm not too sure what it was that he was. Oh, what a punch from David Adelaide!
Right. So listen, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I actually done an interview after the fight with Dave Adelaide, but he said we done the same to him in Saudi. Yeah. But okay, yeah, they was in the clinch, but the referee let him get on with it. He didn't call nothing. And then Fabio bumped him and went on that, yeah, and dropped him. Yeah, you see that? Okay. Jeamie done it. Referee called break. Jeamie hit him on the break. The referee gave him a warning. Yeah, we all see that, yeah? Okay. Now we see that context again when the knockdown was, yeah, the referees walked around on the blind side. You see that? Called break. Then walked around a bit more, pushed Jamie's arm down and called break. Dave took a little tiny step back and threw the left hook and dropped Jeamie. So what's the difference between the first one, what Jeamie done, to that one? What is the difference? Well, he pulled Jamie's arm down and called break twice, and Jeamie got dropped, and he started counting. But if you actually slowed the knockdown down, the referee actually hesitates to pick up a count. But then he started picking up the count because he bottled it, the ref. He absolutely bottled it. Yeah? Yeah. The fight is probably too big for him, I don't know. But at the end of the day, for me, it was a disqualification, or the fight couldn't continue, go to the scorecards. That's what I was saying. And the referee tried to deny it to me that he called break. He didn't call break, sorry. Yeah? And I fucking heard him call break. I heard it with my own ears. And I heard it twice. And I see the pull down of the glove as well.
Yep.
Yeah?
It was
So,
absolutely...
the rules of boxing, if you can't continue from a foul blow, yeah, after 4 rounds, what happens? They go to the scorecards. But this referee picked up a can. Listen, I'm not blaming Dave for nothing. Dave had to do what he had to do because he's a fighting man. Yeah? He had to do what he had to do. But everyone can see Jeamie was clearly winning that fight. Yeah? That was the only time Dave could get a punch off was from that situation. But he had a bit of help from the ref to get that punch off. He had a clean punch on Jeamie. But what that referee actually done was a very, very, very dangerous thing. Yeah?
Look,
to give Dave had that 3 punch, that man could kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Even our co-host is saying it, Bazza. Look, BNG, big up to BNG, he's saying, hello, Bazza, the whole nation heard the ref say break. Let's run it back. Everyone twice. Look, even Andrew saying clearly calls break.
So what did Dave do? What did Dave actually do when he called break? Punched him.
Yep.
And when he called break and Jeamie punched him, Jeamie got warned. Yeah. And all this stuff what Adam Booth's going at, Sam, we put stuff on his glove. David had all things in his eyes. It's a load of crap. Mate, we had an official in there with us. Since we got into that change room, we did not leave our side. Yeah? So how can we put something on him? You know what I mean? Listen, I think, this is what I honestly think. Yeah? Dave knew he was getting outboxed. Yeah? He knew he was getting outboxed. I honestly think he had his excuse already there, why he got beat because Jeamie had something on his gloves. The excuses was already there. It was all coming out. Adam knows that. He ain't stupid. He's been in the game longer than anyone. You know what I mean? He trained world champions. He knows. He knows that. Yeah? He deep down in his heart, he knows it. I know he knows it.
Yeah, we need to run that fight back, you know, because stuff like that. I kind of
all done that. So
I saw it at the beginning as well, Bazza, man. I saw it. The referee was just slightly off. You saw a little.
How can he walk up to us in between the ring and start walking? As he walked up to us, yeah, as the bell went, obviously his corner said. First thing he said to us when he walked into that corner, yeah, I think it was the end of the 5th. I think. What's that smell? What's that smell? We all looked at each other. What fucking smell? Yeah. Then he walked out and started smelling Jamie's gloves. I thought, what the fuck's going on here? They went, wipe him down, screaming at us. So the cuts man gave me the towel, and I didn't know what he was going on about. Then he grabbed the towel off me, the ref, and started cleaning Jamie's gloves. I didn't know what was going on in that situation. But Jeamie had to stand between the round. Yeah? When it was his minute rest time. You tell me, what was all that about?
But Barry, what is the official rules? Like, if one corner starts making claims like that about there's something on.
So Jeamie gets his rest. Okay, and as the bell goes, he should put David in a neutral corner. Yeah, walk up to him, examines Jamie's gloves. Yeah, If he smelled something off, I get that. Yeah, but there was nothing off. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing. There was no doing in that. And they're coming out of it. That was the excuse because Dave was getting beaten up. He was getting outboxed. He was getting outboxed every single moment. He did have from the first round to the end of the 5th round. Tell me what success he had.
No, I think
did he have any success?
He was getting outboxed.
No, right now, Jeamie, after the 5th round, yeah, that is when we was coming on strong. That is when we was coming in, yeah, because we could see him weakening, we could see him tired, we could see him getting frustrated, yeah, but we didn't know we was making excuses in the corner already. So obviously we was doing our game plan right, yeah, but. And then Adam's come out and said that, you know, I don't know why would Adam come out and say that and make that and carry on the excuse for him. I just think it's a load of crap. It is a load of crap, you know. I mean, a guy of that experience, you know, your man was getting beaten up. He was getting outboxed, yeah. He was getting outboxed. He had no success at all, yeah. And that's gonna happen. It should have went to the judges' scorecards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Jeamie should be coming home with the British title. Matter of fact, it should never have happened. The fight should have played out. You know what I mean? Yeah, the referee should not have got involved. He should have left them both to it. That's how it should have been left. It should have left them both to it and let them both get on with it. But instead, it's got on the blind side, pulled Jamie's glove down. Dave took a tiny little step back, and Jamie's opened his right arm up and said, "Look, I'm not holding," and Dave's gone on that. And he's chinned Jeamie, which was very dangerous situation he done. It was terrible, poor. Yeah. And they come up to me and denied he even said it. He denied it. 4 people in my corner heard him say he said he never called break. I went, what? Yeah, and that's when I went mad. And then he come up to me about 10 seconds. I did call break. I mean, I fucking know you did, you lying cut, and I lost it. And I lost it at the bloke, yeah? Anyway, my old team was telling me to calm down, but I couldn't calm down. I was just too emotional because I see what happened. Yeah. What happened to the good old days when referees used to get in the middle of the fights and break them and push them out like Mills Lane, Richard Steele. They were good at, yeah? That's what they was doing, push Tyson back. When he was in the clips, what happened to them good old days? Instead of pulling his gloves down and saying break from a distance, the fights are going to go on that because Jeamie went on it as well. So I'm not blaming Dave. Jeamie went on it. The referees need to get their asses in there. You know, was he scared to get his ass in there? Yeah, was he scared? If he was scared to get his ass in and break them 2 guys up, he should not be refereeing a fight like that.
It's 100% true. And look, even big up to Rico, El Rico. He done the watch along yesterday for the channel. He watched it and he even confirmed as well that the ref did call breaks, and he's saying big up, man.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. And big up
James. Pulled Jamie's arm down. So as he pulled Jamie's arm down, but if you actually watch it, I've slow-mo's it down, I put it out there so everyone can see. He's pushed his arm down. Yeah, so Jamie's opened up his right arm and say, look, ref, it ain't me who's holding. And Dave has gone on that. Yeah? And he's gone on that. You know, they both wasn't really tangled up. Jeamie had his arm, I think it was on the inside of him, and David had his arm, his elbow in his chest, but his fist pointing up, and he just dropped his shoulder, dropped the left hook on it, in the perfect position it was, yeah? Okay? But Jamie's gone on the referee's instructions. He's gone on the referee's instructions. Yeah? He's listened to the ref because he's been warned by the ref, so he listened. Yeah?
He did the right thing as a fighter.
So by listening to the referee, who's in charge of the contest, he got seriously hurt. Yeah? And it was a clean punch. When someone like Dave Adler, you can't give them guys a clean punch because they can knock down a fucking brick wall.
Yep.
And he's done this. Listen, something serious could have come off that, you know.
Yep.
So I'm being serious because it's that hard, Dave. But all night long, he couldn't get that. He could not get that left hook off all that. When he did get it off, he missed, or Jeamie got under, or he got smothered. There was nothing he could do. He had run out of ideas. And that was the only way he could win that fight, and the referee helped him.
Even El Rico's saying refs nowadays just don't know what they're doing, man. Honestly, we're speaking as fans. I know you're in the industry and you know you're heavily involved, but at the end of the day, we as fans, we could see that the ref did call break in those situations. So it's
twice, and pulled the fighter's arm down so the other guy can hit him. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. The referees, when these guys get clambered together, all tied up and tangled up, they need to get their asses in the middle of them, so no cheap shot goes off. Like you see these American referees, Bob, they're jump straight in on you. Yeah. They don't fuck about, mate. They're in on you. Yeah. They're actually in on you. But when Jeamie done it, hit him when he got warm, if the referee would have got his ass in there, that shot never would have happened.
Yep.
Okay, so when Fabio chinned him, okay, the referee didn't say nothing. He took a back step and let him get on with it. Why couldn't he have done that, this ref? Because they wasn't really badly tangled up. They both had an hand free, but he called a break because he was on the blind side. He was even on the wrong side of the fight to call a break. Yeah? He went round to the right when he should have been round on the left, getting his arms in between them and put hands on both fighters' chests and pushing them back, stand in the middle, and then taking a backward step out so they can get on with it. Yep. That's what he should have done. Yeah?
Yep. No, it's true. And look, even Rico's saying there, like, you know, he pulled Jamie's arm down and David literally, you know, took advantage of it. And that's no fault to David. David did what he did.
No, listen, I'm not blaming David for nothing. Honestly, I've got a lot of respect for David, yeah? I know his brother Ed as well. They're actually really nice guys, you know. I haven't got nothing against them, yeah. But I knew we had his number. I knew we was going to get him. I knew we was going to beat him because the right was on the wall from the 5th round. You could see it how it was going, and it was going to get worse and worse and worse for him. Yeah,
boxing so clean as well, Jeamie.
It's going to get worse and worse. People said it was a boring fight. Yeah. We nullified the puncher. He could not get a punch off. He got nullified. And then Jeamie started getting rounds off bit by bits, not getting greedy, bit by bits. And as the round would have went on, the fight would have went on, Jeamie would have got to him. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Dave probably would have quit then by then. The fight would have been out of him, yeah? Because he'd have run out of ideas. Yep. He didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
Yeah? And all that, Adam said he was walking him down. He stood in front of him with an eye guard. He didn't even walk Jeamie down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't know what fight he was in, the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Look, even Harrison Wall here, who's tuned in for the first time, saying Bazza knows his boxing. Of course. This is Big Bazza, you know. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, man. Big up, man. Big up, man. It's such an honor and pleasure as well. So,
Barry, how is Jeamie? How was he after the fight? Because as you said, that was a clean punch from a big punch.
Yeah, of course it was. No, Jeamie was fine after. Jeamie was fine. You know, Jamie's as tough as they come. He's a tough boy. He's a tough boy. But it was a freak accident. What happened? You know, it's probably something you probably wouldn't see for a long time again in boxing. Yeah, at that level. Yeah, or you probably won't see it. Yeah, but it's that you won't see for a long time. But Jamie's fine. Jeamie, I spoke to Jeamie. Jeamie just wants the rematch. He wants to get it back. He's disappointed. He's disappointed. He's heartbroken. Yeah, he trained hard for this. He worked hard, you know. Yeah. So what was good about that fight? Jeamie never took a beating, never done it. He just got dropped with a left hook. Yeah. Okay. Now after, it was all right after. Yeah. Even when Jeamie was on the ropes and Dave was letting him go, Dave wasn't really getting through. Yeah, he was getting under him, and he was smothering Dave. So they really wasn't getting through. But you know, he was right to stop it. Then I haven't got to complain about that. But all I've got to complain about is what he done to cause that.
It's true. No, 100%. 100%. And all the credit goes to you, the team. Because look, even Rico's saying that this is the best shape that he's seen Jeamie. Jeamie was obviously boxing tremendously as well. I think this was one of his best performances, but it just because of this situation, we're not gonna highlight these things because of just little mistakes like this, which is a shame. So give my brother.
I just hope this gets put down as a no contest, and they can do it again.
Yes.
And this next time, we're gonna go about it differently. This next time, yeah, we ain't gonna just nick the rounds, make David we're gonna go at him this time, yeah. Watch it, be a different game plan completely. What we do next time, yeah. I see weaknesses and flaws in him in there. I know where we're gonna go about this, yeah. Dave's already put it out there. He's told Box Nation, yeah, that he was going to an immediate rematch, yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm up for it. Jamie's up for it. We're all up for it. Dave's up for it, yeah. Dave's up for it, yeah. We've got to fight, yeah. But hopefully, we can get the right referee who's going to get in between them and push them back, yeah. And he was going on about the Fabio Wardley. We done it to him out in Saudi. But the referee let him go. He didn't call break. He didn't call nothing. I actually had an interview with Dave when we had this argument. I went, Dave, but the referee, he went, yeah, but no. We went back and watched it again, and the referee just let him go and didn't call nothing. They switched off in the clinch. Yeah? That's how we got caught. Yeah? He got bumped, he got a right hand left hook. Yeah, and that's what and that's what happened. But Jamie's one, he got called break twice. He got his arm pulled back and Dave went on it. So he's going on the referee's instructions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, we agree with you completely. It's not David's fault.
Congratulations to Dave. You know, he done what any fighter would have done. Yeah, he done what any fighter would have done. I don't have one bit of animosity against Dave. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, fair play. Yeah, it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all.
Yeah,
it's the way the referee went about it. If he would have done his job properly, it went on the blind side of him and called break. He can't even see what's going on himself, so he lost control of that. He lost control of that situation.
No, definitely.
And I ain't the only one who said it either. I think the old boxing blogs come out and said it. You know, Dave's a proud man, you know. Dave knows that wasn't the right way to do it.
Yep.
He knows that deep down in his heart, you know. He knows that. Yeah. But obviously, he got to do the situation, but it ain't the way Dave wanted to win it.
Even Abbas, who I was confirming, big up to Abbas, he was live. He was saying that he was there live, actually. He was saying that it was such a poor thing to see. Especially just poor decision making from the ref. But like you said, Baz, let's have it. I want to see Adelaide versus TKV 2. I know you got other commitments at 8 o'clock. But thank you so much, Bazza, once again, just last minute, just coming through.
My pleasure.
Blessing us with your energy and your knowledge. The people love you. You know the people love you, Bazza. People love you. Anytime you want to come.
Well, you said accent, isn't
it? No, you know your stuff, Bazza. It's your
thank you.
All right, man. So
God bless you, yeah.
And give
thanks for having me. Hopefully, next time we get the rematch, we'll be back on with the belt.
Come on. You're going to get that, man.
Let's do it.
Good. I'm going to make a move, yeah? God bless you.
Bazza, catch up with you soon.
Right.
Peace.
Nice one.
Absolutely. Legend.
Obviously, Barry rightfully absolutely fuming.
Something different, right? We wanted to do something different with this roundup, man. So we obviously reviewed.
That's what you're good at, man. Giving the community those insider views from the people that that tell us what's really going on. I'll tell you what, though. I think Barry's been a bit kind to Team Adelaide, because I wouldn't be surprised if in the corner they told him pull a stunt, because I don't know if you saw recently Dominic Ingle did an interview with
Boxing King, isn't it?
And he was saying how, look, home fighters, especially thanks Rico, much love.
No, bless
he was talking about how back in the day when Ricky Hatton was fighting in front of his home fans, And when Hamza Shiraz hit Bradley Skeet when he was down, it was both situations. It was they were losing the fight and they knew they were going to lose.
Yep.
But they pull a stunt knowing that as the home fighter, they're not getting DQ'd.
Yep.
So, you know, what Bazza's saying, the stuff about, you know, Adam Booth saying there's stuff on the gloves and then pulling a foul like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bit of a, you know, in the corner, his corner saying, yeah, come on, look, do something nasty here because the fight's slipping away from you. Knowing that as the house fighter, you ain't getting DQ'd. I wouldn't be surprised because the whole thing around there's something on the gloves. See, referees shouldn't be listening to what the coaches are saying. There are board officials. Don't know if you guys ever see during the fight, there's a board official also in the corner and they're leaning over, looking at what you're doing in the corner to make sure you ain't putting anything on the gloves or you ain't slipping some extras into their water, etc. Yeah. So the gloves have already been examined before they leave the dressing room.
Yeah.
They watch in the corner. There's nothing getting on the glove. They know that. Yeah. So why the referee is, you know, by rights, referee should be telling them, get back in your corner. Let me do my job of refereeing. Not saying, oh, okay, I'm now going to check the gloves. Nah, there's a board official in the corner watching what you're doing in the corner. Anyway, that was unfortunately sad, disappointing end for.
Yeah, it was a crazy situation, and just big up to everyone just in the chat. Sorry, I couldn't, you know, read everything, every little comment because, you know, when Bazza is on the show, man, it's always good to get that energy. But big up to Mr. Neutral, aka the Class 2-1, aka Jim Watt of New Boxing Media. Thank you so much for tuning in, and Harrison Wall as well. Thank you so much, and Edo Rico getting involved in the chat. Thank you so much. Let me just get to Bazza equals the GOAT. We agree, and he's obviously giving his shout outs as well. Abbas, I guess the first to blame has to be the ref. We definitely agree, but the fight wasn't slipping away like this time, which is true. 100% agree. 1000% the ref was told to do a job. Yep, I agree. And yeah, Ben is crying, you know, from Southampton. Free Shalom, man. So Ra, the first question I kind of wanted to ask you is edgeways with Rico, man, is crazy. But yeah, Ra, first question I kind of wanted to ask you, my brother, is what do you think is going to happen next?
Again, you know, Adelaide is he's Uncle Frank's boy. We know Uncle Frank is cornering the heavyweight division. Not as bad as Don King was back in the 80s because his fighters at least are getting paid. But we also know Uncle Frank doesn't like Shalom. We've seen that the Fabio v. Miller fight, he's going head-to-head with Boxer's show up in Barnsley. I think Uncle Frank's made it clear he don't like Shalom, and so I don't think the board they're not gonna overturn it as a no contest.
You don't think it's gonna be overturned at all? You don't think so?
I don't think so, nah, because the board always stick up for their referees and their judges. They'll always, you know, you gotta do. Put it this way: Robert Smith was sticking up for the judges for the Josh Taylor v. Catterall 1 fight, saying we trust our judges no more than you guys. So I can't see it. I think the best Jeamie might get is they'll say referee made a mistake, so we're going to order an immediate rematch. To be fair, at least David Adelaide is saying he's up for an immediate rematch. So, and you know what? I mean, I think it makes sense because it's not like there's something better in the pipeline. The queue for the world level is so long. At this level, they're not getting anywhere up the queue any quicker. So you might as well deal with this properly. So
Run it back.
there's a good chance it will get run back. Yeah, like I said, I just hope Jamie's okay. Like I said, to get up after getting a free shot from a big heavyweight, man, he shows how tough he is. Yeah, so
Congolese, I remember, man, that us Congolese people have got that spirit within us, man, where we don't give up. So we saw that. It was just such a shame that, you know, as a fan, I was kind of watching, just thinking he didn't get his opportunity, man, because of situations like this. It's a big event, big card on the zone. And yeah, I think Mr. Neutral did say that the ref made one mistake. I think he made a few mistakes on the night, my brother, man. I can't lie. I saw the ref making a few mistakes. And even Bazza, I've got a clip, not even a clip, I've got a picture of Bazza going absolutely ham on the ref because he was just making so many mistakes on the night. So, yeah, let's hope we get the rematch next. But big up to Jeamie, and you know what? Let's get down to the main event, Ra. This is what I wanted to kind of talk to you about. So, heavy impact, obviously, big up to Uncle Frank for delivering a tremendous card, of course. But we had a winner on the night, and Herkovic finally, you know, got his win. And yeah, it's 1-1. So, bro, what's your thoughts, man? And what's next for Herkovic, and what's next for Joe Joyce?
yeah, you know what? I can sense Joe Joyce is getting annoyed by the constant talks of, you know, you should retire. And yeah, you know what? To some extent, I can understand that. You know what? He's a mature, grown adult. I'm sure he's under no illusions what the nature of this sport is. Every time you get in there, you're getting brain damage. Yeah. Now, I used to think, you know, look, when a fighter gets to a certain stage, maybe for their own good, the license should be withdrawn. However, I've since changed my views on that. I don't know if we've discussed this before, but you look at how many fighters, when they're forced out of the game, their lives spiral out of control, and their life, you know, it just goes downhill. You know, you look at guys like Michael Nunn, Jermaine Taylor, they sunk into a life of crime and ended up in prison. Okay, people are then going to say, well, look, Joe Joyce ain't from that sort of rough background. But I remember Frank Bruno, when he was forced to retire with his eye injury, within a year, he had sunk into some really bad depression. He was turning violent with his family, and his own daughter, in the end, had to have him committed. Yeah. So we know this sport, once you're in it, it's all consuming for these guys. And I do think that it's almost a case of they have to allow their well to be drained completely before they can feel at peace that they can leave it all behind. So it's really a case of, you know, are they going to suffer mental health problems now or later? Yes, if Joe Joyce fights on, probably will suffer health problems later. But if he's forced out of the game too soon, he might start facing health problems now, because we know these fighters find it so hard to make that transition out of the sport because it's so all-consuming. In terms of how he performed, I actually thought it was a great performance. You know, people talk about, you know, after the Zhang fight, the punch resistance to be gone. Well, he took a fair few shots there. He weren't like, say, Roy Jones Jr. at the end of his career when, like, even just scuffed shots were dropping him. You know, Joe took a fair few shots and he put up a fight. He kept the juggernaut, kept chugging forward, and I thought it was a close fight. I don't know about you. I didn't think. I mean, I thought Herkovic was definitely the winner, but it weren't like a domination or an overwhelming win. So, based on that, I still think Joe can perform up to a certain level. Now, of course, any talk of contenders, any of these young hotshots, forget it. But there are guys who are suitable opponents for him. I'm thinking Tony Yoka. There's history there. the Olympic Games 2016, Yoka has, you know, he's had 3 defeats on the bounce, and he's had to go back to fighting journeyman. So he's a guy who never really convinced as a pro. That's a suitable fight. Another one, the original opponent, Dillian White, again, looks a shadow of his former self. That's appropriate. And of course, there's Wilder coming back, who's also looking, you know, a long way off his best form. So if you talk about guys like that, they're still interesting fights, but they're an appropriate level. What wouldn't be appropriate is putting Joe in with, say, Fabio Woodley or Moses Atuma now. Those days are gone, yeah. But, yeah, that's the sort of thing I would say. If Joe really wants to fight on, those are the fights to look at. And, you know, he could still have a couple of more interesting nights in his career. And then, you know, people can start pressuring him to pack it in. But, yeah, let him have a couple more, and then we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you in terms of, you know, there shouldn't be a certain time. You know, a lot of people are calling for Joe Joyce. Look, he should just forget boxing. He should retire. But like you said, a man, let him do it at his own time. Let him do it at a point where he feels that he has nothing left to give to the sport. So you kind of got to let him roll the punches. And like you said, there's quite a few interesting fights still out there. Not at that world level, but there are, you know, the Wilders, like you mentioned. There are fights where you kind of look, you know, you can do a Zhang rematch. Why can't you do a Zhang rematch in the future? Zhang's coming off a loss. They could do that. Andy Ruiz Jr. is still there in the mix as well. So there is potential fights still there. Mr. Neutral saying Joe's written off prior to the fight. I believe he surprised people, including Herkovich. I definitely agree. Joe Joyce versus Jared Anderson. That I would watch that fight. Definitely, yeah. I would definitely watch that fight. There's fights still out there for Joe Joyce to have. So yeah, big up the Juggernaut. I think he kind of brought back that Juggernaut spirit. Came with the Shield, you know, music, you know, the vibe. Abbas, you know, Aaron, he was there live, man. So he got the full experience. So yeah, I think he put in a good performance. Wasn't his night, but not a fight that I would say, look, he should retire after this. No, he's still got enough left in the tank, man. 39, I think, is just about age is nothing but a number, in my opinion. You know, that's a quote said over the years. So yeah, it's all when he's ready.
And it's worth remembering someone like Derek Chisora has probably taken more punishment than Joe. I mean, he's in line for his 50th pro fight. And I also wonder, you know, people are saying, well, Joe's lost 4 out of his last 5 fights, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the defeats age well. I mean, all right, exclude, say, the 2 Zhang fights we can say was bad matchmaking, style-wise. Zhang was just wrong for him. Yeah,
it was poorer. It was absolutely
bad.
Horrible.
But, you know, look at Derek. After that, Derek destroyed Valine, as you know, probably as well as AJ did. So it looks like Derek still isn't as far gone as people thought. And then look, he's the mandatory challenger now for the IBF title.
Right, you might have to answer that for us, man. Is Joe the new heavyweight gatekeeper? It's so disrespectful, man. I don't want to call someone a gatekeeper, but what you say?
I mean, I can certainly see if he insists on fighting for too much longer, that's what the promoters will use him as. But like I said, I don't think he necessarily needs to be in that role. See, again, the problem in this sport is like, it's like everyone thinks you either got to be elite and pound for pound best or excellent, or you're rubbish. What's wrong with there being different levels? You know, yeah. Okay, you got those young upcomers and the elites, let them duke it out. Then you've got these mid-tier guys who, all right, they weren't good enough to be world champion, but those guys at that level, let them fight each other. So, like I said, Joe Joyce, against some of them names I mentioned, and it can still be an entertaining fight and an interesting fight. Nothing wrong with that. Not everyone can be Usyk or Mayweather and whatever, but they still are providing entertaining fights that, you know, that will be a good legacy in its own right. So
it's no disrespect, it's reality, and plenty of boxers. Yeah, you know what, it is the facts. I'm not going to lie to you, Mr. Neutral. It is the facts, but I wouldn't personally call a boxer a gatekeeper, man. I would kind of agree of what Ra's saying. There's different levels, you know. There's the elites, there's the mid levels, and then there's, you know, not at that level. So it is what it is. But it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens next. We obviously heard the news with Wardley. He's finally getting that big Portland road match. That's going to be massive. Woo! That's big.
Yeah.
He's got Miller. That's going to be an interesting one. So
it's already interesting. They did a good thing bringing Miller over. We know he should, by rights, he shouldn't even be allowed back in the sport, but he is.
There's so many people. We could say the same thing about
exactly. Listen,
Dylan White. We could go through the list of people.
Absolutely. He's by no means the only one, but
yeah,
he's going to make it such a fun build up.
Yep.
He likes playing the pantomime bad guy, and you know, from his last couple of fights, he's still a handful. You know, we now know how good Daniel Dubois is, especially when his dad's in his corner telling him what to do. So losing. We're
not going to give up on that one, is it? This is the heavyweight champion of the world, bro. This is the heavyweight. He's the man.
He is, and yeah, but basically Miller getting stopped by Dubois, we've since seen no shame in that, because I mean everyone else is you know, guys like AJ is blitzing, and of course he got that draw with Andy Ruiz. Probably should have got.
How was that a draw, Ra, as well? I was watching the fight myself. That was just, it was like a nice way of saying, look, we couldn't give it to him, so let's just, you know, give it a draw.
Yeah.
Both teams are happy.
We've seen a few things like that lately. But yeah, Miller's still a handful, and Fabio can hit like a train. I think it's gonna gel and be a superb fight, well worthy of Fabio's homecoming, you know, in his home stadium. So yeah, great summer event there. So yeah, looking forward to that, and hopefully they'll have a good undercard. Yeah, with some of the locals there, you know, hopefully getting involved.
Oh, definitely. I think I know you're definitely going to be involved in that, because like me, you're a football man. So whenever you join the two, football and boxing, it's a marriage that's just tremendous. So you get the atmosphere, you get the football fans, you get the chants, you get the energy. So I'm just excited. I'm really looking forward to that, and it should be a big one as well. And Dubois will have his revenge on you. No, please, Mr. Neutral, please, let's not start this tonight. Please. Let's not do this tonight, man. You just, with Usyk, we just have to just accept that this man is the man. He's done it how many times? How many times does he need to do these rematches? He's done it a few times now, man. Please, just let him, you know, let him call it quits. Let the belts just separate, fragment, so that, you know, everyone gets a chance of being champion. And who knows? What's the record now? How far away is Moses Atuma from actually his record? Is it possible?
No, he had to have won a title by next month. That's not going to happen. I mean, I think it would have been possible if Usyk had retired after beating Fury the second time, because then the belts are vacant. He could have picked up the WBO one, because he was next in line to fight Justice Hooney. That was the chance. So that's, you know, that's, I don't think anyone's going to hold that against him. It's like the politics didn't work.
I'm happy. No, I'm happy it's not happened, bro. The reason why I'm happy it's not happened, not because of that, is I think he's so talented where I just want them to just take their time with him, but not hold him back too much, but just when the time is right, I think he will be champion eventually, but don't rush it in yet, man. We've seen, you know, the mistakes that's happened in the past with some of the fighters that we've had. I don't want to mention any names, man, but I'm sure people know. Usyk had too many wars. One more, he might fold.
I don't know what Mr. Neutral's definition of a war is, because I can't think of any fight where Usyk has been, you know, taking a pounding. Can you?
It's true.
I can't think of any.
Derek Chisora kind of pushed him to the edge, not pounding. But
he was uncomfortable for sure.
Very, very.
I wouldn't class it as a war.
No.
It was a struggle, but it weren't a war. I mean, last night was a war between Hrgovic and Joyce. They were both taking a lot of punishment, but I don't recall Usyk ever taking much punishment. So, but hey, listen, Usyk is still 38 and he's fighting much bigger men. So, if he hangs around for too long,
it could happen. Of course, man. But I just don't see it happening, bro, man. I think him and his team are smart enough to kind of, you know, map out a plan for the next two fights where I think the final fight, I think I've said it a few times, man. I just think they're going to do this MMA crossover, you know, with TKO, and, you know, we know what's going to happen. It's happening.
Yeah. And
I think that will be last farewell. And at that point, the belts are separated and, you know, everyone's got a chance to,
No problem. I'll just be interested to see what's his next fight, because I don't think any of them are particularly big money. I guess the best one would be Dubois at Wembley. I don't know if that would sell though, because Dubois is much more well known now. I don't think he's caught the casual, you know, imagination way AJ and Fury did, because obviously he's not much of a talker. So
he's been talking now, though. To be fair, you know, you've seen with the zone and, you know, all those little bits. He's been, you know, he's been doing a little something. You'll give him that, but I do get what you mean. I think a Spurs stadium, if he's gonna fight a Usyk again, you know, for undisputed for all of the belts, maybe do at Spurs' ground, or why not? Oh, Ukraine can't hold any events now, isn't it? Or could they? No,
definitely none in Ukraine.
No,
that's a shame. He will probably never get that. He'll probably never get that homecoming, but that's a shame. So I guess his best thing is not just where the biggest money is, but I think the two biggest money fights he's had them, Fury and he's had them twice. So that's why it's all the more baffling why he's still having, staying on for another year. But all right, well, as we've said, fighters they find it hard to let go.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Big up to Usyk, and just big up to Daniel Dubois as well. I do hope that we get to see, you know, him thrive more. Like now he's being himself. We get to see his character a lot more as well. We saw a few bits with the zone. So let's see. I think Uncle Frank has got, you know, some tremendous plans for him. So let's see what he could do. Could it be a Joseph Parker? Could it be, you know, could he revisit that fight? Because he does want to revisit that fight eventually. But I think he's leaning towards Usyk. And if not Usyk, does he give Chisora the 50th?
You know what? If I was Uncle Frank, I would go with that as the safe option and keep Daniel away from Usyk, because, as I said in our group chat, if you get beaten twice by Usyk, the second time your soul is gone. And so it might be better. Let's Parker take Usyk, keep Daniel, keep his powder dry. Usyk will then vacate the belts, because remember, Uncle Frank's got his fighters in position for to pick up every other belt, and then he can put his own tournament on Have the new undisputed champ. If he wants, he doesn't even need Turkey. So Uncle Frank's manoeuvred himself well enough.
Tremendously. Yeah.
He doesn't need to put his young guns into that Usyk meat grinder because, like I said, Usyk takes souls, and so I think Uncle Frank would probably be better off doing that. And then because remember, they can always sell it that he was too inexperienced when he fought Usyk, and now Usyk's retired. Well, look, we didn't duck him. Usyk retired. You can't blame us. Blah blah blah, and it will just get forgotten about in a few years because the next crop of heavyweights they'll put on good fights, and that'll be the next generation taking over. So that's what I'm inclined to think. And I don't think it's an accident that Chisora v. Valine got made an eliminator. I think it's because I think Uncle Frank's manoeuvred this because he could probably say to both his fighters, look, Derek, you wanted your last fight, a big one, like the heavyweight title in a stadium. Yeah, it's Daniel Dubois and he's the hard puncher, but you've fought hard punchers before. No one, there's no pressure on you. If you lose, you go out with a bang in front of 60,000 fans cheering your name. And if you win, hey, you pulled off the most heroic ending ever. So, and of course for Daniel, we can sell it as like, look, you're fighting an old man, easy payday. So everyone's happy.
I agree with you, Rob. You've broke it down tremendously, if I'm honest with you. And look, let's see what happens. But big up to Uncle Frank, man. Like, big up to Frank Warren, because for what he's done in the back end, and you could say that the way he's taken care of his fighters, he's done it great. He's a tremendous promoter, and he'll back his fighters to the end as well. So, yeah, it's a similar situation, what he was explaining to with Dubois, with Ennis, who's obviously going to be fighting next week with Eddie Hearn, because with Crawford obviously, leaving the division, that's allowed, Ennis to be in a position now where he could, pick up all of the belts, be undisputed, but he has got a tough fight against Daniels. He's got a tough fight. It's a war, man. So obviously we're going to break it down more, once we're getting closer to the event. But I kind of just wanted to put those two parallels so that people can understand where we're coming from that perspective.
About one thing we didn't touch on was Hrgović.
Yes.
Of course, one. I don't know about you. I'm still not convinced by him because, he's technically really good, and he's got a tremendous chin. But it looks like he ain't that big a hitter by heavyweight standards. Because all the top guys he's fought, he's not really put a dent in any of them.
Yep, Zhang, Joyce, Dubois, some big shots, man. But it just,
and on top of that, he just never seems well conditioned. He slows down, and then like against Joyce, he was like at times having to take rests on the ropes. He made a big deal.
Maybe it was last minute, though, Rob. Do you think maybe it was last minute?
There is that. However, he's even done that in fights where he's had a full camp.
True.
Like he just never seems to up the pace, and I don't know. I mean, it could just be that he's never really built that momentum, but I really think he needs to kick on now if he's gonna fulfill the potential that a lot of people said he had. I don't want no more inactivity. He's got to accept that him being from Croatia, a small country, he's going to be the B-side always.
Yeah,
you look at Usyk. Usyk accepted he's the B-side all these years. And it paid off in the end, but it paid off because he just went to everyone's backyard and whooped them. Hrgović is just going to have to accept that he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to take fights at short notice. He's going to have to fight the other bogeymen that no one else wants to fight. And you best believe you're going to have to be fit all the time because you're going to have The only way you're going to get the big fights is last minute replacement, which means there can't be none of this excuse like, oh, I only had this much notice, blah, blah, blah. Dude, you're a B-side. You ain't ever going to get a full 12-week camp and all the circumstances just how you want. So he needs to do that, keep plugging away, and then, he's going to have to sort of, like I said, take some hard fights to get himself back in position.
Who next? Who you? So if you were Herkovic's manager right now, and you've obviously seen this performance, you've seen what he's been able to do, you know what his limitations are, who you putting him in next?
Oh, good point. How about someone like Torres, who won last night? I mean, there's no way ESPN ain't doing that. I'm talking nonsense. ESPN ain't doing that. How about the winner of Martin Bacoli and a Jaguar? They're not big draws.
Yep.
They struggle to get the big fights. So how about them? They say, like, look, the winner of this, you've earned your spot back at the top table. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a potential one. Who else is there? Trying to think.
How about Dylan White? You putting Dylan White in there? You putting Dylan White in there?
Yeah, hey, listen. I mean, if I was Herkovic's manager, I wouldn't have no fears about putting him in with
Coley as well.
Yeah, Goat Coley is as
Coley.
But again, I'm trying to think, being realistic, because Coley's ranked number 1. Him and Caballero are probably just going to wait another. They just need to wait till the end of summer, by which point Usyk will have vacated those belts, and then they, Coley and Caballero will fight for the vacant WBC belt. Do you get me? It's because of that. I don't think those sort of guys, Hergovic ain't getting them yet, because they're already in a good position. So he's going to have to go for the guys who ain't in a good position. So like I said, Martin and a Jaguar, the winner of that, because there's no one else is going to be rushing to fight him. No,
it's fair. It's fair, man. I can't even lie to you. It sounds reasonable. Yeah. I couldn't argue against that, to be fair. People, whoever's tuned in, is there any specific fighters you think, Hergovic should fight next? After that performance last night, were you happy with the performance? Do you think there's limitations? Just get involved in the chat anyway. It was obviously a good, heavy impact event. I enjoyed it. I can't even lie to you. And Ra, I enjoyed just doing this tremendous, review with you as well. Something different as well. We had the Bazza, who's, the trainer of Jeamie TKV. So unfortunate, obviously, what happened, but you see the team is tight-knit, a tremendous team. You've obviously got Lee Wood in that team as well, because he's actually involved in that card. This was the original card out. It was promoted before, but you obviously got Kakachi and Woods. That's obviously coming up, and I think that's going to be a treat for the people as well. And we're going to work on getting a special guest as well very, very soon for episode 200. But Ra, once again, it's always a pleasure doing these shows with you. People, make sure you're following Ra on Punch Out Boxing. Here's the channel. He's obviously doing a tremendous work on his end. Just continuing to break boundaries, give people tremendous content, access, great work. So, Ra, I don't know how many times I could sing your praises, man, but you are, what you're doing. So, big up to you.
Pleasure's always mine coming in and talking boxing with you. So, thanks again for having me.
No, thank you for covering for BNG. Obviously, once again, he will be back next week, I believe. Hopefully his wife hasn't got extra Usher tickets, because Usher's been getting everyone to go to this event, man. So hopefully it was a good one, but big up to everyone that's tuned in. God bless. We appreciate you. And, without you guys, the community, we won't be able to do what we do best, and we do it for you guys as well, for the fans, by the fans, so that we can deliver tremendous content. And I believe Abbas will be launching some sort of content soon, because he obviously went to the event there. So big up to Abbas as well, who's at the event, and big up to the whole of the iBoxingHub family. Big up to Rico, he did the watch along for this event as well. So yeah, it's just such a shame for Jeamie, man. Like, my Congolese brother, hopefully he bounces back. But Ra, I'm gonna give you the honors, man, of wrapping up this show once again. Thank you for being here with us again.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, Sunday night review. There's always those highs and lows, depending on how your favorite fighters have fared the night before. So yeah, my Congolese brothers are a bit deflated. Me too, because Jeamie's a local boy to me, just down the road in Tottenham. But those downs make the highs that much sweeter. So they will eventually come back round. But tomorrow's another week, and some new round of boxing coming up in the coming week. So stay tuned, and we'll be doing a wrap up midweek.
Yes, I'm excited about that. So big up to you, Ra, again, and big up to Bazza people. So if you've just joined in at this point, go right all the way back to the start. Bazza, just gives us his perspective of obviously what happened over the weekend. But yeah, Ra, God bless you. And yeah, thank you so much for everyone tuning in to another roundup.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flips me a bag,